Okay. Councillors, officers and member of the public, welcome to the Wednesday, 19th of November 2025 meeting of the Development Assessment Committee. In accordance with Moorabool Shire Council's governance rules, the council will be recording and live streaming this meeting. I can confirm that all councillors are in attendance this evening except for Councillor Bingham, who will put in an apology from this meeting. We will move on the confirmation for the previous minutes. Councillors, prior to confirming, are there any matters arising from the previous minutes? Yes, Councillor Keogh. You're moving it? No worries. Do we have a seconder to that as well? All four? Passes. Carried. We'll now move on to item 7. Councillors, we have a number of members from the public registered to speak. We have one online and we have a written submission as well. We'll now move on to item 8, disclosures of conflict of interest. Councillors, does anyone have a conflict of interest to declare? No. All right. Where we're at here. All right. Moving along to community planning reports 9.1. There's one objector online. Are they currently there? 9.1? 9.1, sorry. Do we have a mover for the officer's recommendation?
I'll move it with a question, please, Mr Mayor.
Yes.
The question is for officers. I noticed that one of the conditions on the endorsed plans is item 1B, that the Waste Management Plan updated to reflect the Circular Economy, Waste Reduction and Recycling Act requirements for the 4-bin system. Can I safely assume that if changes are made to the 4-bin system, which are being discussed, I understand, that that would be amended to reflect any changes?
Yeah, so through the chair, there is a separate report that was provided as part of the Childcare Centre proposal, which was a waste management plan. It is to be updated with that requirement, but of course, in time, if requirements do change, it will still be in accordance with the waste management plan because it will say to current day standards.
Thank you, Mark. Happy to move, Mr Mayor.
Do we have a seconder?
Oh, may I ask a question, Mr Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. On page 19, you've said assessment which included empirical data. Could you describe what the empirical data was?
Through the chair, the empirical data was for the car parking analysis. So they actually do look at car parking studies that have been done previously, and then they try to use a bit of a form as far as car parking demand for on-street parking particularly.
Thank you.
Okay, councillors, do we have anyone else? So move it along. So we've got a third. Is anyone for that? Everyone's for that? Anyone against? Anyone against? All those in favour? It passes. Carried. Moving along to item 9.2. Yeah, we've got one online speaker. Are they currently there now? Alice, are you there?
Hi everybody, sorry.
No, you're right. We can hear you.
Wonderful, let me just pop my volume up.
No worries. You've... Behind me? Oh, okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. Thanks for the...
No worries. You'll be given 3 minutes to speak, and any time you're ready, you can start.
Wonderful, thank you. Good evening, councillors, and thank you for the opportunity to speak at the meeting this evening. My name is Alice O'Mara, and I'm appearing on behalf of Mattingly Brown Coal, who are the owner and operator of the coal mine, landfill and materials recycling facility to the south of the subject land. MBC, we respectfully ask the councillors to adopt the officer's recommendation and refuse the planning permit up for discussion today, or up for approval today. Firstly, the proposed childcare centre is a fundamentally incompatible land use. It sits within the coal mine, both the coal mine buffer and the composting buffer associated with the MBC operations. The Moorabool planning scheme is very clear. Sensitive uses such as childcare centres should not be introduced within these separation distances. The officer in this case has correctly identified this as a fatal flaw in the application, and we agree. Secondly, key set.
You've just lost some sound. Still. You can hear us now? Yeah, you're back now.
Wonderful, thank you. Secondly, the key sections of the planning scheme expressly seek to protect the Mattingly Waste and Resource Recovery Hub, including the coal mine and landfill, from encroachment. The site is of regional and state significance and is recognised both in the planning scheme and the Victorian Recycling Infrastructure Plan. These policies require council to prioritise land use compatibility to safeguard long-term operations. Thirdly, the application materials available for review were incomplete. There was no town planning report or information around staffing levels or hours of operation. Councillors simply have not been provided enough information to make an informed decision, and on that basis, any decision would be highly vulnerable at VCAT. For these reasons, we respectfully submit that the only responsible outcome is refusal, and we thank you for your consideration today.
Thank you. Any questions, councillors? Councillor Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Alice, thank you for your presentation. I do note that what you've just sort of said with respect to the separation distance, how far would the proposed site be from the actual landfill itself, rather than as opposed to the lot boundary?
Approximately, I'd say about 900 metres from the actual landfill itself.
Yes.
It's within the coal mining buffer, and it's approximately 700 metres from the coal mining operation. And within the other buffer as well, the composting buffer, the subject site would be approximately 950 metres from that location as well.
So just to recap, so there'd be 900 and 950 from the actual operation of this on the site, rather than the site boundary.
It's, yes, so from the actual operations on the site, and the coal mining would be a little closer than that, and that would be around 750 to 800 metres.
Okay, thank you.
That's okay.
Any further questions? Councillor Ward.
Mr Mayor, I do have a question, and it's not so much for Alice, but thank you for that presentation. I do understand, and this is directed to officers, I do understand the recommendation for rejection because it's the competing land use is incompatible land use, and it's considered a sensitive use within the buffer zone of both the coal mining and the composting. One of the concerns that leapt out at me, and this is a question for the officers, Mr Mayor, is that it mentions there's 961 traffic movements a day, including 25 truck movements down the hill. The traffic topography is quite difficult to imagine unless you've seen it. It's a narrow road and very steep hill, and anyone that's tried to cross that road knows there's been a lot of speeding. The question for officers is 961 traffic movements per day, is that taken at the point where the proposed childcare would be? Because I would suspect if you moved 100 metres down the road to the boom gates where the train station traffic meets the Bacchus Marsh Grammar traffic meets the Bacchus Marsh College traffic, we are talking several thousand traffic movements a day, and this would be another major concern. I understand the incompatible land use, but I'm super concerned about the road safety.
Yes, so road safety was raised in probably nearly all the objections received to this application. Concerns about particularly bus movements with the number of schools in proximity to the childcare centre. And again, that traffic congestion, particularly during pickup and drop-off times with the school, with that interaction with the schools, the train line. So that has been taken into consideration, but it wasn't a ground, there wasn't sufficient, I suppose, evidence to demonstrate that it causes safety risk for accessing to and from the childcare centre.
Clarity, I suppose the question was, there was estimated 961 traffic movements. Was that taken at the proposed site or taken down where all the two schools and the train traffic meets? Because then it would be, I would suspect, significantly higher.
The traffic movements, I believe, were only taken from the subject lane, so from Parliament Street, not actually across from the rail line, including those interacting land uses.
Councillor Thatchell.
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. This question to you, Alice, please. How much actual coal is being mined and sold as coal from the site?
At the moment, around, if you just give me a second, I can give you a number.
Just pure coal, not mixed or not
No,
second.
absolutely. Just raw product of coal is at just below 90,000 tonnes per annum.
Thank you.
Councillors, also we have submitted a written submission from Donald Collegia that has been circulated and sitting in front of all this. Councillors, you now have a recommendation in the papers before you regarding the report. Do I have a councillor move the recommendation? Thank you. Do you want? It's written. It's written. Yep. Thank you, Councillor Ward. Do I have a councillor to second the recommendation? Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. We'll now put the motion to a vote. All of those, and anyone against? And all those in favour? And motion is carried. Thank you.
Mr Mayor, before we move on, can I just have a question of
Yes.
on this item, or regards to this item? I note on the page 24 of our report, there's an aerial photo of the subdivision layout of the area, and it looks like there's been a battle axe development on a property sort of just to, I suppose, to the southwest of this site. Is that, in the future, if a house would be sited there, is that going to trigger, is this going to be triggered? Or not? It's been a sensitive use?
So through the chair, a vacant lot created will have a right, particularly if it's located within a residential zone, for one dwelling. The issue with increasing sensitive uses in proximity, whether it be the landfill or the coal mine, is when you have a net gain. So, for example, if this vacant block they propose 2 dwellings, requires a planning permit, and that could be regarded as increasing a sensitive use, but it does have and has a right for 1 dwelling.
Thank you.
No worries. All right, moving along to item 9.3, we have the landowners in person to speak on that matter. Once you come up, just push the button in front of you and it'll turn green. And you've got 3 minutes.
Okay.
Nice.
Good evening. My name is Rebecca Azapati, and I would like to thank you for the opportunity to present our proposal regarding our property at 15 Eden Crescent, Hopeton Park. I'm speaking on behalf of myself and my husband Justin, and we are seeking approval to construct a new outbuilding for the purposes of vehicle storage and entertaining. The overall height we are requesting is just over 7.5 metres, which has been rejected by a beneficiary of the covenant due to the current height restrictions of 5.4 metres. We would like to highlight that the majority of the proposed structure will remain under the 5.4 metre height limit, with only the central roof line exceeding this requirement. We respectfully request that this decision be reconsidered for the following reasons. No neighbouring properties have objected to our proposal. We firmly believe that the structure will not obstruct any views, nor will it be visibly unpleasant. Our street contains multiple properties with sheds exceeding the covenant height limit, demonstrating an example for similar variations being accepted. We also have an existing shed on our property measuring at 7.2 metres in height, which further supports the feasibility of approving our request. Prior to commencing the design, our designer George consulted with Tom from the Planning Department, who indicated that he did not foresee an issue with the proposed height. Tom also advised that the process for seeking approval for a slightly increased height was straightforward and would simply require a written request to cancel accompanied by the plans and elevations. He indicated that the cost for this may be approximately $360 or potentially no fee at all. Additionally, in close proximity to our property, specifically 2 houses down, there is a double-storey dwelling that exceeds the height limit with another double-storey home currently under construction. This further demonstrates that structures above the covenant height have been deemed acceptable within our streetscape. The increased height is necessary to support the roof structure required for the Hampton-style design we are aiming to achieve. Without this height allowance, it would not be possible to construct the outbuilding in a manner that is both structurally sound and visually consistent with the intended architectural style. In closing, I want to thank you, councillors, for your time and consideration. We respectfully ask that you reassess our proposal in light of these points and allow us to proceed with our outbuilding design. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Councillors, do we have any questions for Rebecca? Yes, Councillor Ward.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Rebecca, thank you for that. I understand it is very difficult and very confusing with differing covenants
Yes.
in the area you live in. My understanding is that the maximum height for a shed, as per the covenant, is 5.4 metres, and your proposed height at the highest point is 8.14 metres?
Not 7.5?
Maybe officers could confirm that, Mr Mayor?
Do you want to have another look? You're better at reading those measurements, sorry.
Whilst that's being confirmed, Rebecca, if I could ask, do you understand, I suppose, how covenants work, and if one beneficiary objects?
Well, I've been told that there's 10 beneficiaries and one has objected due
Yep.
to the height and that. But I have been told that you might actually pass as well, because our next door neighbour, he had a shed that was actually higher than the covenant and had to come in and have a meeting with you guys also. And you had to reduce the height a little for it to be passed. So, yeah,
Yeah.
is there anything that we can do with this beneficiary?
Yeah, if the law as I see it and understand it is if there's an objection from a beneficiary,
Yep.
we don't have discretionary power. However, if someone puts in an application that is against a covenant and there is no objection from a beneficiary, it can be approved.
Okay.
It strictly relies on objections from beneficiaries. Henry or Mark, could you please confirm the height?
It's 7574 is what's on our documents, so.
Do you want me to ask the question of Councillor Berry first? We'll quickly go to the question from Councillor Berry and we'll come back.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Rebecca, sorry, you mentioned there was some buildings that you mentioned 2 blocks, you went quite fast. Can you
Yeah,
just
sorry.
clarify, that had over.
So there's a couple of double stories down the road from us. So there's a existing double-storey house that's been there for many years. So I'm assuming that's over covenant height. And also a little bit further down, there's another building being built, which is actually a double-storey as well.
Thank you. Can I now have a question, Mr Mayor, to officers? To officers now. Rebecca's just mentioned that there's 2 properties down the road that she feels are over. Are you aware of those 2 properties? The two double stories that are over the required height.
So not those specific properties, but you'd have to look at what is on their title, what restrictions, because covenants do vary on particular properties. You'd have to see what they've been restricted and whether they've applied for a variation of covenant previously.
Okay. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Do you want to answer the first question?
Yep. So going back to the, first question about the height. So the height from floor level, which is not ground level, from floor level on their architectural plans was 7.57 metres, but that doesn't include the 600 mil from floor level to ground level. So it's not the overall height. Overall height is from ground level to roof pitch.
Councillor Thatchell?
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. Look, Rebecca, have you spoken to the objector?
No, I haven't. I didn't know that I could speak to the objector at all. I haven't been informed. Everything's gone through our designer. So even I was asked today, because I did make a phone call to Tom, just to see if there was anything else that I could bring up, and he asked if I had received the agenda. I didn't receive nothing. So I've come in here, written my little speech, and just hoping that you guys can hear us out and help us.
Mr Mayor, could I foreshadow that there may be a case for a deferral on the basis that we've had Hopeton Park issues before that have been resolved by the objector, and the fact that there are 10 other properties that have had exceptions. I think there should be an opportunity given for the applicant rather than decision-making if that's the case. Now, that may mean that we need, they don't always work out, but it may create a case where the objector and the applicant can have a chat. We've often had objectors that are 10 streets away where it doesn't affect them. So I'd ask to foreshadow that motion just in case. Sorry.
Councillor Sullivan?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I would just make the comment about covenants. Even on the one estate, there can be a variation of covenants and pertaining to, and some lots are covenants, some are not, so I'd just make that point. My other thing I'd ask of officers, there's two components to this variation that's before us here this evening. One is the height of the building, the other is the non-post and wire internal fence. So if this gets knocked back, do they both get knocked back?
So through the chair, this is a combined application for the retrospective fence and the building height.
Further question, if I may, Mr Mayor. So if in the event this were to go through, just with regard, and the applicant was able to talk to the other benefiting party, they could come back and split this if need be?
So they could change it. So if there was, let's say for an example, an agreement between a beneficiary and the applicant, they could reconsider the fencing component of their application. They could remove it and have it dealt with separately.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Minari?
Mrs. Azzopardi, I just want to ask, what is the usage of the shed? Because the objector didn't mention a kitchen, but maybe they did. There's a comment in the officer's response about a kitchen.
Yep. So initially, I really loved the design when I seen it on the internet, so that was that. And also we want to use it to store our cars in and for entertaining as well. So we plan on putting a swimming pool later on too, and just having a nice little kitchen that opens up to sort of outdoors for entertaining purposes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Councillor Thatchell?
Yeah, look, Mr Mayor, I'm going to bring the foreshadow forward because there hasn't been a motion produced. So I'd like to defer this matter to get more information to see if there can be a position relied on for the objector and some of the issues that are surrounding this, to see if we can get this back.
Thank you.
Everyone else? All those in favour of deferring? Anyone against? All those in favour? Carried.
have to explain to the applicant.
So basically, we'll come back to you with it. I think we've got another meeting on the 10th. Will it come back by that date or be after Christmas?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, if we have to allow for conversation between the applicant and objector, we can't control that time frame. But once that conversation has taken place, we'll advise council on a date.
At the same time, would it be in their recommendations to contact their neighbours and do all the things that they haven't done?
No, that's fine. The deferral is adequate. We will explain it to the applicant.
All right.
If I may.
Yep.
Does that sort of impinge upon the confidentiality of the person who has objected if the applicant then notifies them? Because usually submissions are sort of treated as confidential, aren't they?
So through the chair, we could engage in a consultation meeting where council actually engage with the applicant and the beneficiary. And again, any beneficiary is aware that their objection details or their grounds, and they can participate in future meetings, and that could be a consultation meeting.
No worries. Thank you. Thank you. Moving along to item 9.5, there's no speakers on 9.4. There's no speakers to this item. Councillors, you have a recommendations on the paper before you regarding this report. Do I have a councillor move the recommendations?
I move the recommendation, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Sullivan. Thank you, Councillor Thatchell.
Just have a question,
Yep.
if I may, to officers. So I've just got a question around the 6 car parking spaces. I know according to all the conditions in here, it meets it because that type of business won't require those car parks. I suppose I'm just questioning if that type of business changes and becomes a business that they sell and a business that requires car parks, is there any way we can put a clause as an extra point to say if that business changes?
So through the chair, I suppose just answer that in two parts. So the first part is that these are a very small warehouse building that are, I think they're 120 square metres each, and they don't have an office, so they're very limited in what they can be used for. And that's why they've got 2 car spaces to each of the 5 warehouses, and then you've got the additional 11th spot, and then the storage units don't have any car parking. And to the second component is if anyone decides to change the use from warehouse to another more intensive use, they do need to come back to planning to do a reduction of car parking, and then we make an assessment there. So if someone wants to open a more intensive use of the land, we'd need to assess it as part of a planning application.
Okay.
Just add, this permit is for use and development. So the use has got conditions on it, and the use specifically specifies it's for warehouses. So if they, and on the plans it's also shown accordingly. So if they change the use, so for instance to a gym, then that means they'll have to change the use component. And in changing that use component, they'll have to justify and meet the parking requirements. So this permit controls the use aspect as well.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Mayor.
No worries. So we've had that moved and we've had a second. Is anyone against? All those in favour? Carried. Moving along, number 10, other business. Any councillors have any other business? Councillor Sullivan?
The business, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Keogh?
No other business, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Thatchell?
Yeah, no other business, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Minari?
No other business, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Berry?
No other business, thanks, Mr. Mayor.
No other business, thank you, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Ward?
No other business, but well done. Your first meeting in the chair, Mr Mayor.
Yeah, well done. Good work.
The next meeting, Development Assessment Committee meeting, is scheduled for the Wednesday, the 10th of December 2025. Thank you, councillors, officers, and member of the public for attending this evening's meeting. I now declare this meeting closed. Thank you.
Well done.